What's going on? How y'all doing today? So we're back with another video, and today's gonna be another video on seduction, because that's pretty much what I decided my channel was gonna be about. It's gonna be about me just giving breakdowns of different things, and it's gonna be about me just talking about some of my favorite PUAs and just speaking on how the seduction community has changed over the years and why I feel like it helped a lot of young men out. Let's get straight into it. So yeah, let's talk about the seduction community. So the seduction community, or you call it the PUA community, aka the pickup community, and there's a lot of nicknames to it. A lot of females actually tried to say that it was negative and that it was teaching men to become misogynistic, and it was teaching men to actually sexually assault women, which I completely disagree with. Basically, what the pickup community was doing for a lot of young men who were growing up without a father figure, or who were growing up who just didn't have, or they probably had a father in their life. Their father was just a beta male and didn't teach them shit about women. It basically was, the pickup community basically came about to teach men coming of age how to become a man, how to be a man, not just approach females, but how to be a man. At the end of the day, that's why I feel like the pickup community itself was very important to a lot of young men. And I actually found out about the pickup community when I was, I want to say, about 20. So yeah, I'm 27 now, just to give you some context. So yeah, I found out about the pickup community about 7 years ago when I was 20. And so when I found out about it, what I started to realize was that these were guys like, this is like, this, so I was 20 at the time, so this is like 2014. So I was gonna be 21 that same year. So these are guys like Justin Wayne, RSD, Tyler. You know, a lot of the throwbacks. Mystery. Well, Mystery's a little before 2014, but you had guys like Mystery at that time, and you had I mean, probably a couple other people, but that was like the main two I actually really followed back in those times, was just RSD. RSD, of course, that's one of the biggest pickup guys out there. Back from then and still to this day, they're one of the biggest pickup guys and one of the biggest pickup groups. I'm sorry, in the pickup community, and Justin Wayne. So my code approaching game, I got a lot of my stuff from Justin Wayne coming up, in my early 20s, and so just seeing how he would move and how he would grab a female's hand and spin her around and stuff like that. And so what I really want to speak on in this particular video is why I feel like Justin Wayne played a big part in the pickup community, and why I feel like he doesn't get enough credit as he should. Because back in those times, right, mind you, there's a lot of pickup artists out now, because like it's a big market for it now. A lot of people don't really want to consider themselves a pickup artist. They'll say they're just teaching men how to master seduction. So I can probably rephrase that, because a lot of people don't necessarily fall into that category or even consider themselves a pickup artist. Like AMS for one, right? Amos doesn't call himself a pickup artist, but at the end of the day, he's teaching young men how to become better men, how to deal with women, dating and stuff like that. Dating coach, perfect. That's the perfect way to put it. A dating coach. So it's a lot. The market is full of dating coaches now, right? Compared to back when I was in my early 20s, or when I was 20. So yeah, there was some in my early 20s, but when I was 20, like 2014, I couldn't really find too many other than the few that I watched, and so. Justin Wayne, now, he was one of the first black PUAs that I could say that actually hit YouTube. I mean, if there's someone who came before him, somebody can definitely notify me, but I'm pretty sure he was one of the earliest black PUAs to be out there, or dating coaches if you want to call them that. That was before Steph is Cold, which I like some of his stuff. You got AMS, of course, that's like the GOAT right now. You got, who else you got? You got MJ Get Right. You got this other guy. I can't think of the name off the top right now. He's one of the four horsemen. I said Steph is Cold. I said MJ Get Right. And then there's FedEx Fearless. That's my guy too. I love all these guys' material, right? So way before these guys, you had Justin Wayne. And what Justin Wayne would do was a little different, because they teach you different tactics on how to deal with and maneuver with females. He was different. He'll teach you in ways to cold approach on how to break the touch barrier. You know what I mean? How to get a hug. How to try to go in for the kiss when you just started speaking to her and everything like that. So yeah, a lot of the stuff that I actually picked up on Justin Wayne coming up, I feel was beneficial to how I approach females now, which I don't necessarily do everything I used to do in my early 20s, because I'm not as I don't feel like I'm as needy as I was because I don't really care too much about approaching females as much as I used to. Because now it's like, even though I would still approach a female if I found her attractive, like fuck it, why not, right? But now it's like I'm starting to understand more what AMS was saying too about um um being on your purpose, right? Because at the end of the day, when you on your purpose, it honestly fills a void that no female or any individual can really fill. Because when you're really on your purpose, it's like you start to find genuine happiness within yourself. You don't have to look for it outside of yourself, and that's what I really want to get into today too. Is, for one, right? Justin Wayne is, I feel, one of the pioneers of this thing, right? On YouTube. Of course, it's got books way before Justin Wayne, like, Art of Seduction and everything like that. But as far as YouTube goes and in the pickup community, I feel like he was one of the first original black dating coaches or seduction, whatever you want to call them, on YouTube, from my knowledge, right? And so I learned a lot of how to approach, which I feel was still important. But at the same time, as I get older, I'm starting to realize why it's important to just focus on myself. And if I see it go, I like, yeah, approach. But I don't I don't think that a lot of these guys understand the importance of why it's still good. I feel to learn to get better on how you approach women, because by all means focus on whatever your purpose is. But I feel like you still want to have those social skills ready. You still want to know how to seduce a woman. Because let's say you focus on your purpose all your life and you never took the time to approach women and get to know exactly what not to do, what not to say to creep her the fuck out. Because I had to learn from trial and error when in my early 20s what not to do. Because I creep some women out of my life, right? I feel like when you approach a lot of females, hell yeah, you're going to creep some of them out, right? And so over time, I started to go through trial and error. And so what happens is when that trial and error happens, you start to understand, okay, well, I know if I do this, she's going to do that. If I say this, she might feel this way. If I do that, she's going to feel that way. You know what I mean? And so I learned this over time. And that came from me making so many approaches. I approached maybe over 500, 600 women in my life, right? For me making so many approaches. So I say that to say this. I still recommend Justin Wayne to this day because he still talks about, from my knowledge, he still talks about certain ways to maneuver in the game, and I recommend AMS as well because AMS doesn't really preach cold approach. AMS feels like if she doesn't give you a choosing signal, don't approach her at all. Which I always said that I slightly disagree with, because I feel like if you really find a female attractive and she doesn't give you a choosing signal, I feel like that shouldn't stop you from approaching her, because you never know. That's only if you really find her attractive. I wouldn't say cold approach an average female. At this point in my life, at 27, I wouldn't recommend anybody to cold approach an average female, because I've done this so many times, and it's like, why the fuck is it? Why would you cold approach an average female with a chance of her turning you down when it's like, it makes no sense. So I'm saying, I say that to say this: if you find a female that you really find attractive and she doesn't give you a choosing signal, I say go for the approach, because you never know. But if she's average, I don't think she's worth it. Now, as far as choosing signal goes, and as far as everything else goes with being on your purpose, like what AMS talks about, like what I was just saying, as far as me getting older and me understanding now why it's more important to just focus on my purpose. And then if a girl, if I see a girl I find attractive, I will approach her. It's like I'm starting to realize now, as I focus on my purpose and as I really try to build myself as a man, it's like I'm finding happiness now where it's to a point where it's like I don't even care too much about if a female, like, things I cared about in my early 20s, I don't really care about anymore. Like, if a female stops responding, cool. But if she hits me back after a long period of time, trust and believe I gotta punish that bad bitch. I gotta punish her at that point. You know what I mean? If a female decides to ghost me, cool, I let it go. Like, now it was like I charge things to the game so fast compared to when I was younger, where I would try to keep texting, or I would try to just hope I could set something up with it. Now it's like I delete numbers, I barely save numbers, and I charge females to the game so fast now, because I understand now when you focus on your purpose and you genuinely happy within yourself, it doesn't really matter if she doesn't want to respond. It doesn't really matter to you if she starts to act funny. It doesn't really matter too much if she flake. At this point, it's like, yeah, if she flakes, then hell yeah, regardless of where you at in your life, that's going to be a little annoying because that's your time wasted. But I say that to say this. If she flakes, if a girl flake with me now, my thing is this, right? I'm gonna chalk her to the game, and if she decides to pursue me after she flaking shit, I gotta know if it's genuine first. If she really does want to pursue me after she flaked on me, because sometimes people flake for important reasons. They're not just flaking just because if something really could have came up. So I try to give her a chance to make that up, and if she doesn't, I chalk it to the game. I let it go. You feel what I'm saying? I'm not about to be playing around with time wasters. At this point, I'm not trying to play around with females who just not serious in any kind of way, or just not even serious on some. I'm about to be dating on some serious relationship, but it's serious as in like taking me serious. Because I feel like when a female starts to play with your time, she doesn't take you serious. You know what I mean? I feel like this should be a part two to this because I feel like I just did a whole lot of rambling and I didn't really have like a real point of the video as far as like the direction I wanted to go in. But I hope you guys could appreciate this piece of content that I want to put out there, and I want to keep going. So please feel free to give me your feedback. I want you guys to elaborate on how you feel about the pickup community at these days in time. If you're around my age, like late 20s, early 30s, or however old you are, you could be a lot younger than me, a lot older than me. At the end of the day, as men, we can all relate at some standpoint. So with that being said, I appreciate you guys, and stay tuned for the next one.